Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very last Forj Exec AMA of 2022. Welcome to those of you still with us. And today we're going to be taking you through a very special presentation, talking all about, first of all, the successes of Forj over 2022, and then looking into the future in 2023, some of the great and exciting stuff we have coming up. And I'm joined today by other members of our executive team. Unfortunately, Christina couldn't be with us today, but we're still joined by Harry, our CEO, Terence, our CTO, and of course, Rob, our COO, joining us today. And we'll be taking you through our individual sections of this presentation. So without further ado, let's dive in. So the agenda today, as I mentioned before, we'll be talking through the highlights of 2022. So Harry's going to take you through a few of those. It's been a really busy year for us. Then going a bit more into the state of the wider market. So looking at the sort of macro context and specific to our industry as well, what's going on there and how might that impact our positioning in the market. Then on to brand and marketing, which is something I'll cover off as CMO, of course. And then an overview of our products going forwards, and then an overview of our 2023 roadmap, which is something Terence will take you through. And then finally, to wrap it all together, a little bit more about our purpose and our vision as a company going forwards. So as always, please, if you're in our communities, our community channels, any questions that come off the back of this presentation, feel free to drop those in our Telegram or on Twitter, of course, @ForgeOfficial. We also have a Discord group and a VIP group as well. So please do give us your questions and we'll make sure to get some answers over to you. So we'll start with our 2022 highlights. I'm going to pass over to Harry for this one.
Hi, everyone. So we're going to show you a 2-minute video that contains the Forj subsidiary under the Animoca brand, as well as other new members in the family. Yeah, enjoy the video.
Excellent. So yeah, fantastic video. And yes, on Harry with the highlights.
So yeah, this year, this lots of recognition and achievement that like we have accomplished. So first, we have launched MetaPrint. It's a platform to create brand experience at scale across multiple metaverses. And the first metaverse destination we have is with the Sandbox. We became the official publisher and agency at the Sandbox after building 3 official experiences, and all with great feedback, including the Chinese New Year, the Valentine's, and like with one of the friends. And then after that, we have conducted a launchpad for Altava Group. The Tava token was launched and dropped to the NFT holders. It was one of the most successful projects of the year, and still is doing pretty well with their most recent launch for BAGC. Then we expanded our experience to 16, signed with brands like Polygon, and Polygon is doing extremely well this year. So continue to happy to work with them, on the metaverse development side. Then we have done the AAA games. It's the first ever AAA games for Animoca brands called Phantom Galaxies. So the planet sales ran very smooth, and we have done like all the planet sales. Right, this is like exclusive partnerships with Animoca, and we see that that's kind of a partnership as a launchpad, one of the launchpad for Animoca brands will still continue. Then Bondly rebrands to Forj in the partnership with Animoca brands. New website was completed with a new visual identity overhaul. And then we have launched CryptoSword. Producer Donald Kushner, Gumbo Chant, partners with us, Forge and Animoca brands, to create this brand. So excited to continue the development with CryptoSword in the coming year. Then we have developed a first ever experience for the BAYC for the Sandbox for season 3. It was a great success. Over 150,000 visits and 45,000 unique players. And then we have also launched the official mascot for Polygon called Polygon Pets. And this is a new addition to the Poker Pets collection, and driving new audiences to the Poker Pet world. Finally, we're ending the year with our AIP submitted to the ApeCoin DAO. It's Ape Accelerator, and we are recognized by many of the community members and leaders in the space. So looking to get AIP to be in the approval stage and get the voting started in the upcoming year. So that's those are the highlights of 2022, and we look to share you more about what we are planning to do in the coming year. And this is 2022 remarks. So I'm going to share you the notes as 2022 comes to a close, and this is a time to reflect our achievements and set plans for the future. It's been a year with hardships, and from collapse of a major stablecoin to the bankruptcy of the second largest exchange. And these are the events that have a strong, significant impact to the Web3 space. And under Animoca's guidance, we were able to drive industry innovation while being able to be responsive to the market cycles. Highlight of this year includes the successful launchpads like projects, including Altava, Phantom Galaxies, and we also have supported Spec Coins launch too. And our metaverse partnerships with Polygon, building the first metaverse experience featuring BAYC, those consider to be very great highlights. And we are closing a year strong with the launch of Polygon Pets, a mobile game partnership with Viker, and an exciting proposal to become an official launchpad partner for the ApeCoin DAO and the BAYC community. We also continue to benefit from Animoca brands' rapid growth throughout 2022. They have launched ApeCoin and popular Bored Apes metaverse called The Other Side. And they completed a very successful raise of $125 million from Temasek. Acquired multiple companies, including VMedia, TinyTap, and Eden Games. Right now, the whole portfolio is going to be 380 portfolio companies. So this growth has created many opportunities for us, for Forj, to incubate new projects and technology within the Animoca ecosystem. So in the coming year, we will be laser focused on the delivery of infrastructure and tooling for Web3 IP and the metaverse. So growing demand for the metaverse services, acceleration of music and entertainment brands, and adoption of NFTs to create new opportunities for us. And we see that network effect of Animoca brands is continuing to go very strong. And and this unprecedented opportunities and growth, we'll discuss more in the coming slides. So in this document, we'll discuss these opportunities, provide you with an updated roadmap and updated token utility as well. As always, with every challenge we face, there's opportunity. 2023 is going to be the year where Forj solidifies our lead in the metaverse infrastructure and interoperability space. And that is the 2022 remarks. So in the to recap, one of the reasons why Forj was majority acquired by Animoca brands is we have been building very powerful tools. So we have developed this is according to Yat. Forj has developed powerful tools to help onboard brands and individuals to the world of NFT and has built viable relationships with many leading brands and artists. This product and relationship will be of great assistance to Animoca brands and our portfolio companies. So in the 2 years' time, we have accumulated over 150,000 audience with 1 million reach. 30 plus projects have launched, and we have 6 tech modules. And this is the photos that have been taken in MCLA. Our team has been travel around the world, and this is Charles and Rob photo with Yat, the chairman of Animoca Brands. Then we are going to talk about the state of the Web3 and the metaverse. It's been a challenging time, and in the last, I would say, 7 months, 8 months or so, land prices and volume dropped more than 90%. It's a sharp decline in job postings and also token performance. One example is for the play to earn space is XC Infinity, and we also have staff and also experience similar situation too. OpenSea volume, as you can see in June analytics, has tumbled, but this month, December, it has picked up. But over the year, it's been declined for a while. But that comes with new opportunities too, right? So we see increased brand adoption and innovation. Animoca and Sandbox are bringing more and more brand celebrities to the metaverse. So onboarded DBS, and which is the #1 bank in Singapore, and also Dubai government to establish HQ in the Sandbox, as well as other very famous partners like Gordon Ramsay, Warner Music Group, Paris Hilton, Stuart Dodd, Tony Hawk, and Steve Aoki. And we are also seeing Animoca brands, right? It's taking another step, to the Web2 sport, right? With a partnership with MotoGP to be the title sponsor. And Gucci and Tag Heuer has adopted ApeCoin. So we're seeing more adoption likely it's going to come in for the Web2 brands in the coming year as well. Other than the brand's adoption, infrastructure development has been greatly improved. Improbable has introduced us with other side. More than 20,000 users can play in this virtual world, which is exponential growth from the previous environments that we played in other metaverses. And the MetaPrint initiative that we have which we enable asset experience and avatar creation at scale, is also in the works. And then these are the proven case studies that we have seen over the year, including the partnership of 10K TF and Gucci. Later on, it's been acquired by Yuga Labs. 10K TF has been a very successful case study we can learn from. Then M&M Chocolates, partnership with the Kingship. One Hungry launch with the first restaurant based on the Web3 IP theme. And it's expanded to more than just Bored Apes, but Color Cats as well. So we are seeing a shift from digital to physical. And that's for the brand adoption and innovation side. So despite the market decline, brands to continue to build on in Web3, and this is our forecast. We see, by the time that we hit 2030, we would have a 95,000 plus labor force shortage, and 60% of the time would be spent on repeated work. For the whole market cap, virtual assets, by 2030, market cap would be hitting $5 trillion. So it's looking to very bright for us in the coming years, where infrastructure development will still be very popular. And we've seen substantial growth, right, despite the bear market in open metaverse, particularly in sandbox. This also indicates with the growing audience, there's a need for education and automation. And this is Sandbox September 2022, Alpha Season 3's key matrix. Over 4 million accounts created, 230,000 Season 3 unique players, and impressive 17 minutes average duration of length for playtime. And we have a global audience too, from USA to France. We see that there's going to be more adoption for open metaverse in the coming year.
Wonderful. Thank you, Harry. So now I'm going to talk you through a little bit about the Forj brand and marketing. So as Harry pointed out earlier with his highlights of 2022, obviously around May, we rebranded to Forj. Of course, Forj standing for, forging ahead, forging partnerships, and of course, forging NFTs and innovations. So a really dynamic brand designed for Web 2 adoption. And there's lots of exciting things to look at going forward in 2023 when it comes to using that brand to reach mass audiences. So ultimately, one of the things that often gets ignored in Web3 is the importance of brand in regards to onboarding new users, because Web3 is often seen by ordinary people, shall we say, as hard to understand, hard to access, very difficult to navigate. It could be a scary place. So the Forge brand is here to try and increase that level of acceptance of Web3 technologies, to simplify things for ordinary people. And our brand is what makes us different. So over 2023, we're going to be focusing on brand building activities to reinforce our credentials to those audiences, to brands looking to enter the Web3 space, so those Web2 brands, as we like to call them, but also those creators, musicians, film studios, whatever it may be, those businesses looking to use Web3 technologies to better engage with fans. And it's all about, for Forge, blurring the lines between fan and creator. And we have a number of ways of doing that through our technologies, obviously through our metaverse activations, through NFT activations, and our other Web3 technologies, which we'll be going through later in this presentation. So one of the first things we're very excited about, through Tom, who works in our team as the head of content, we have a new podcast series called You, Me, and Web3, launching very early on in 2023. We've got some incredible guests lined up, and this is going to be an ongoing series where we tackle some of the big questions in Web3, but we kind of break down these subjects in a way that's a lot more relatable. So Tom will be the first to tell you, he's not the kind of the expert in all things Web3, and he wants to learn with these guests, and it's a great opportunity for you to learn with him. So that's coming very soon. That's going to be great fun, and a way of reaching new audiences, trying to onboard them and make sure they understand more about Web3 technologies. In terms of media as well, we obviously value the importance of getting our name out there in kind of mainstream press. We've been privileged to be featured in some really large publications, including TechCrunch, City AM. We wrote an article about the importance of building a brand in the metaverse. And actually recently, Cryptosaurs, so our Web3 brand with film producer Donald Kushner and the Gumbotron team, was featured in Variety magazine. So, an incredible opportunity there to gain exposure to mass audiences. And then, of course, thought leadership. So it's really important in this space, whilst building is obviously, the most important thing, we also want to position ourselves to our audiences and make sure that we're at the forefront of thought leadership in this space, because we have some of the best Web3 experts, frankly, in the world working for Forj, and it's a great opportunity to get those people out there. And of course, Harry's been doing a great job on Binance Live, a regular guest on Binance Live, and getting a huge audience over to us, talking about all things Web3 and especially around Animoca and Yuga Labs, the kind of wider ecosystem developments, etc. So that's been really, really important, and something we're going to focus on going into 2023 as well. We also want to focus on research. So part of that thought leadership piece is making sure that we're at the forefront of not only breaking news. So something we're looking at, obviously, of course, is our Forge Flash updates and kind of more and more sort of commentary on news and industry related goings on, because they're all important ultimately to how we develop as a business, but also for our community, making sure they're on top of everything that's going on, because Web3 is an ever-changing space. There's lots of things going on. It's important to be ahead of all that. And by the same token, Forge Research, which is our research arm, where we do a number of different reports based on important subjects in the wider sector. So, for example, the state of Web3 adoption was a really popular report, and Harry, of course, being very well connected to the Yuga Labs ecosystem, we often will be one of the first to breakout reports into Yuga Labs and how that ecosystem is developing. So educating audiences with cutting edge insights and making sure that we're positioned at the forefront of this. Because ultimately it's thought leadership that helps to drive mass adoption to Web3, but of course from a commercial perspective, positioning ourselves as thought leaders, as primary thought leaders in the space, is how we onboard new clients and new audiences as well to our products. Cool. Going more into the insights piece, so we obviously want to use those insights to enable companies to respond to market changes. So, looking at the impact of Binance Live, for example, often 10 plus weekly founders are interviewed. We have about 70,000 average readers for one of our reports, and over 1 million viewerships over the last 3 months. So, really, really strong reach of our research reports. So something that has been a great success for us, and again, something that Harry's been championing often through his appearances on Binance Live. So looking ahead at how we at Forj will position NFTs. Obviously, we believe that NFTs are no longer just about being a collectible. The NFT is a vehicle for storytelling. It's a way of storytelling and a way of innovating. So it's a way of creating immersive stories, immersive narratives, and that's ultimately why a lot of brands, Web2 brands, are so eager to enter the world of Web3, and often NFTs are one of the key vehicles for doing that. It's a way of creating quite unique experiences with fans. And the ability to use NFTs for so many different cases, for everything from governance to access to experiences, and of course, at all times, it is also still a collectible. So there's so much more to it. So many of our OG community will remember the BCCG cards, which was our first NFT collection, the Bond Me collectible card game. Something that I know a number of you in the community have been asking about. And it was, when it launched, it was one of the first instances ever of NFTs with utility, something we're extremely proud of, that those NFTs went on to be used for a number of different things, notably, of course, access to our launchpad, which has been extremely successful. And I know a number of our community saw a lot of success through their ability to be involved with a number of innovative new projects coming into the space, such as NetVRK, for example, and BMI, among others. So having now, of course, become Forj, something we've talked about with the community is the fact that, as the brand evolves, so too must our BCCG brand as well, because, of course, notably the fact that it's linked so much to Bonley, but also to a graphical style and a narrative around anime, etc., that we're moving away from as we become more immersed in metaverse and gaming and kind of mainstream audiences. So something we wanted to talk about is what is the future for BCCG? And the thing to first of all note is nothing will change in regards to your level of access or the utilities that you have with your BCCG cards. We just want to evolve the format, and we propose doing this by splitting BCCG cards in two, in effect, so that we can have a single utility Launchpad pass, which will be given to people with a BCCG card, and we'll explain how that works in a second. And then there will still be an opportunity to have a new kind of VIP membership pass, which will be designed, with the look and feel of Forj, and kind of reflect more the values of the Forj brand as well. Now, the reason we're splitting these utilities up is because we want to make it simple to onboard new audiences into our Launchpad. So those of you who follow us will know that as we become more immersed in the Animoca ecosystem, obviously we often have the opportunity to launch projects that are involved with Animoca. So we have the opportunity to use our Launchpad as almost a form of a Launchpad for Animoca. And there's also some exciting developments for our Launchpad coming up as well that Harry's already alluded to. So it's really important, therefore, that we think about new audiences who won't understand the BCCG ecosystem, who won't understand what's the difference between an official BCCG card versus a promotional one. It's important that we just make it super, super simple. So for that reason, it makes sense to allow people to come and essentially take part or participate in our Launchpad using a simple pass, which will say essentially bronze Launchpad pass, silver, gold, etc. So we have designs for those. We won't show them here, but we already have a plan for this, and we'll be announcing more details very soon in the new year. And then, of course, as I mentioned before, the VIP aspect of the BCCG, so the access to the VIP channels and other kind of, benefits related to your BCCG card, they will still be retained, but they'll just be transferred onto a new vehicle, as we explain here. So this is a simple diagram that hopefully will explain this, but in essence, we've already created a swap platform, which actually has been ready for a good few months now, but we're waiting for the right time to incentivize people to go through this process, because I realize that it is a bit of a hurdle to go through the process of swapping NFTs, and we wanted to have the right event to motivate people to do this. But in essence, when that event does happen, when the time does come, you'll be invited onto a platform where you can trade, or in other words, burn your BCCG cards in exchange for a Launchpad pass. So, and we've split this as to essentially reflect how it is currently for access to our Launchpad. So if you trade one BCCG card, you get a bronze Launchpad pass. If you trade two, you get a silver. Trade three, you get a gold. Or trade four, and you receive a platinum. Or if you have a Farzin, of course, you can trade that for a platinum pass as well. For Farzin holders, I appreciate that means that you'll lose your Farzin, but again, as I mentioned, we will still be retaining benefits from these cards going forward into the next stage, the VIP pass stage. So more details will come about that. So even though you'll be trading your Farzin in, you won't be losing the kind of utilities of having owned a Farzin. You'll be given an equivalent in the next phase of the VIP pass. So when you're trading in your BCCGs, don't worry, you're not losing the ability to do all the things you would normally be able to do with your BCCG. You'll just be given an equivalent VIP pass, which will be kind of revealed in the near future as well. So there'll be a community engagement event led by the community team, where people have the opportunity to learn more about what this all means. And of course, they'll be given their VIP passes with additional utilities as well. As we go forward as well, of course, we want to try and make it even easier for our community to be involved in governance. So something that we've been working hard on is a governance structure. So of course, it's important to remember, the kind of three key pillars of DAO governance: so loyalty, utility, and the ability to crowdsource governance. So there will be more details on this coming up, but just to make you aware that, of course, your Bondly token, as well as your BCCG passes, or the new iteration of your BCCG passes, will all contribute to your ability to vote on key initiatives for Forj, and again, more details on what those things will be to come early in the new year. So moving on to our product roadmap now, and I will pass on to Terence.
Actually,
Hi,
me.
Yes, sorry. Apologies. I pass on to Rob. Sorry, Rob.
No problem, Chaz. Thank you. So let me break down the product roadmap for everybody. Chaz, you want to move to the next slide, please? Thank you. So there's kind of three key areas to our product: audience aggregation, distribution, and tools and solutions. In audience aggregation, it's more audience aggregation, community aggregation, and even engagement, a part of this area of our business. This is like top of funnel activities, much like what Chaz mentioned earlier. Thought leadership activities such as Forj research, our new activities such as You, Me, and Web3, and Pets. Where we actually go into different communities and engage with those community members. Distribution is Launchpad, right? It's basically where we align these communities with projects and products that we're representing. Either we've created internally or we're working with our partners. And then tools and solutions. This is like everything we've ever created in the past. And we're basically productizing now. And Terence will get into this in a few minutes, and how we're going about this. These are like picks and shovels for Web3 and Metaverse. These are the building blocks that can be rearranged and combined to create, end-to-end solutions for Web2 companies entering Web3, or our Animoca family-related members that want to launch new things. Next slide, please, Chaz. Thank you, Chaz. So Launchpad, they're doing some new things here. So we're extending the capability of Launchpad to create a decentralized white label platform for leading IPs and communities. And we're doing this starting with BYC. As Harry mentioned earlier, we have an AIP in front of them right now. Hopefully we'll be hearing news shortly in the new year, which we'll inform everybody as soon as we hear. And once we've proven this approach, this decentralized Launchpad approach, we're going to extend it to other communities, other blue chip communities, perhaps, Cool Cats and other ones that are listed here as well. So that's going to be a bit of the focus in Q1 of this year. And tying to these communities are tech modules, right? So as we launch new projects, we want to be able to offer to these projects on the platform the additional services we have in tech modules. And I'm going to pass this to Terence to go into more detail.
Okay, thanks, Rob. So currently at Forj, we're looking over our technology, and what we decided to do was come from a modular approach. And that modular approach basically emphasizes separating the functionality of our technology into independent, interchangeable modules. Think of it like Lego building blocks, basically. So depending on what the customer's needs are, we would have the building blocks to put together in whatever fashion the customer would need it. Some of the things we're working on are NFT solutions like NFT minting, token staking, and launch pads. We're also working on a piece of modular technology that will allow us to have smart contract, automated deployment and automated token distribution, and expand our offering to 721, 721A, soulbound tokens, nested NFTs like ERC 3664, and so on. We're also looking at building out micro marketplaces to offer to the clients. These marketplace solutions are for Web 2, GameFi, supporting utility and gaming NFTs. And we're also looking at Web3 identity and how to provide that in a better fashion. And that's to empower Web 2 and Web3 brands with Web3 identities through interoperable mascot creation and activation, but also solve the problem of, in today's world, identity is fragmented. So we're looking to create a means of decentralized identity aggregation, and that will provide the structure and tools to empower the Web 2 and Web 3 brands and their identity, and actually also protect that linked identity while preserving the identity and anonymity and sovereignty of those identities. And we're also focusing on fiat on-ramps. Today, in order to buy an NFT, in most cases, you have to take your fiat, turn it into crypto, and then buy the NFT. And we're looking on a means where, we can do a straight fiat to NFT purchase and create non-custodial wallets using email addresses for Web2 fans and things of that nature. And now I will pass it. Next slide. Thanks. So Meta provides picks and shovels for game and metaverse builders. It's creating brand guide standards. As more organizations are entering the NFT and metaverse space, there's a need for our experience in building recognizable IP for brand success. We're looking to help studios to develop content, to see content for brands in the sandbox, BitCountry, and the other side. We're also working on universal metaverse identity, basically entering the metaverse space. Each metaverse has its own engine, standards, and guidelines, and we're creating the default blueprint between top metaverses to speed brand adoption. And we're also working to build metaverse communities, in a virtual world and gain audiences across, cross audience exposure. And now, next slide. So the 2023 roadmap. So what does that look like? Well, we're looking what's existing. Well, right now we have the Animoca Launchpad, and we're going to continue to support the launch of Animoca projects throughout the year. We're doing educational reports to empower builders with wide distribution and share insights to foster ecosystem partnerships and ticket sales for gated metaverse experiences. So what's coming up that's new in 2023? Ape Accelerator, white labeled launchpad to support Web3 IP growth within the Yuga Labs ecosystem. We have Mochaverse coming, and that too, we want to empower Mochaverse collections with utility from metaverse experiences to launchpads. Another exciting thing we have coming in the new year is Cryptosaurs, which is actually a PFP and decentralized Hollywood franchise. In 2023, we'll be launching our white labeled micro marketplace, and that would be curated marketplace for several Animoca portfolio projects, and governance will be coming as well. And we're going to set up for treasury and education and creative decisions using native tokens. And we also have consultancy, our advisory. We advise Animoca brand portfolio companies on products, distribution, and fundraising. And that's the roadmap for 2023. And I'll pass it on to Harry to tell you more about the token roadmap for 2023.
Great, thanks, Terrence. So the roadmap for two of the tokens of ours One is Forj token. The other one is PokerPad tokens. So for forged tokens, Bounty tokens, we will increase adoption through the 8 launch pads. This means that there will be inflow of new projects coming to the 8 accelerator, where not only that it will host in the 8 launch pad, but also it would happen in the Forge launchpad as well, which will increase adoption and wider distribution for the projects. So in this case here, the Bounty tokens will be used, and for the ones that who hold the tokens will get priority access. Then we would also conduct more token buyback as we advise those companies that working with us. We would have revenue from that, and then a portion of the revenue would go into token buyback. And then finally, we would exercise a governance token model into creative and some of the treasury decisions. For example, some of the reports that we have been making in the Forge research, we can get the community to vote on some of the direction as well as the creative, right? Some of the treasury decisions too, and we do want to have the governance that's on chain. And moving on to PokerPads, we are waiting for sandbox to be fully opened, where we can create gated experiences and we can sell tickets, right? So after that is an official launch, likely this year, 2023. Then we'll be able to have ticket sales and then conduct those token buyback from the sales of tickets. We'll be also engaging in new partnership as well. So Wiker is a great example of that. So overall, 2023 is going to be an exciting year for us, where we're going to do more with both our tokens. And I look forward to sharing you more how those governance models would be introduced from here. When it comes to vertical and solution, we'll be prioritizing in 4 different fields. And first started with Web3 IP. This includes the Yuga Lab ecosystem, Acoin, BYC, Punks, and Coolcats. There are also other IPs in the space here, such as Gutter Cats, Imaginary Ones, that we're tracking very closely. Second verticals will be Metaverse. Open metaverse, including the sandbox, and the other side, which is going to be introduced on Q3 next year with a persistent world, according to the founders. Number 3 is going to be music and entertainment, and number 4 will be fashion. So these are the verticals and solution we'll be prioritizing. And this is how the Forge network effect. We call this the kind of flywheel effect. First, we started with more project incubation, and this is the time where lots of projects for help, from fundraising to product adoption. And we are incubating this project referred from Animoca brands and also from our network. And then this would bring in more service revenue, and this service revenue will enable us to conduct token buyback. Which involve some of our announcement and also some of our governance in this too. And then token value, right, is considered the performance is going to get better with token buyback. So that's the flywheel effect. We're seeing that it worked well with the model that we are applying today. And our purpose is to accelerate innovation in Web3 coming in 2023, which means that there's going to be a lot of innovation happening in the space from different verticals, from fashions, music, metaverse gaming, and we are here to empower and we are here to accelerate those innovation. And speaking of acceleration, there are 3 ecosystems we want to talk about here. Number one is Animoca's ecosystem. Animoca has grown to 380 portfolio projects and there's going to be a $2 billion metaverse gold fund announced by Yassil not long ago. So you can see as the ecosystem grows, and we have already experienced a network effect from the CoolCat FC launch to the ApeCoin, Yuga Labs IP, many of the Animoca portfolio projects to work together very closely. And our role here is distribution and launchpad support. And distribution means finding relevant audience to participate in those projects, token sales and NFT sales. When it comes to launchpad support, just like getting the priority access and like activations for those projects to happen when it comes to the sales happen in our launchpad. And the second ecosystem would be Polygon. Polygon this year has been exceptional. They have onboarded partners like Starbucks, Disney, Accelerator, Reddit, Meta, and many more. And so we see Polygon is going to continue to have another strong year going into 2023. And we already have signed multi-year licensing agreement with them in the metaverse. And we have the metaverse developments for Polygons that's already going on and will be released when the sandbox have fully gated access and for us to self-publish. Then the second is on the official mascot, which is the Polygon Pets. And many of you might already have the access and holding Polygon Pets. So we'll be sharing more of the updates, how those Polygon Pets can be used in the metaverse. And then finally, we are looking to enrich utilities for ecosystem NFTs. This including some of the ones that, for example, like Reddit. And for this growing user, there's a 5.8 million user already. And the growth has been super rapid, with the introduction of Reddit, in just 1 week, they have over 1.1 million user onboarded. And we will continue to work closely with Polygon Studio and the Polygon team. And also moving to another ecosystem, we have Mochaverse that's going to be introduced like early either February or late January next year. Mochaverse is the first ever NFT collection launched by Animoca Brands, where its purpose is to get different Animoca brand projects to learn together, play together, do good together, and build together. Like for us, we have the 4 different verticals that's covered too. Like first, we would have our report, where we can learn together with many of the audience to empower them with this learning insights. And number 2, when it comes to play together, the sandbox experiences we have, we would like to include and integrate mochas into some of these games and to achieve avatar installability. And number 3 is do good together. This means making meaningful contributions to the social causes, including carbons, credits. So that's number 3. Number 4 will be likely continue to build together and accelerate many of the projects, similar to what we have done for Ape Accelerator, and we would like to pass this model to Mochaverse as well. And as you can see, we have been accelerating the innovation within the Yuga Labs ecosystem in the past 5 to 6 months. In the August timeframe, we have only 50 projects that's using Yuga Labs IP. And December, we have over 210 projects featured. And our researchers recognized by Yuga Labs team, the founder, Gaga, which is very impressive. And most recent, the report for the builders who defined 2022 Web3 IP edition, we have over 500,000 impressions. So this allows us to not only get community engaged, audience aggregation, but also allow us to find different ways to interact with project early on. So it opens up the window for us to do incubation and advisory. And as you can see, like Forj has been growing a lot, and in terms of partnership network, we have a rich and extensive partner ecosystem where we gain deal flow, distribute products, and direct funding to help projects succeed. We have our VC partners like Animoca Brands, Animoca Ventures, Circle Venture, Diaper Labs, Sebastian that's been supporting us, Binance Labs been sharing us with like a very early deal flow where we we monitor very closely in those ecosystem. And we also growing our KOL and community. We are on Binance Live every single month to talk about projects, growth, and also some of the ecosystem successful case studies to educate the audience. At the same time, we want to grow our audience as well. Launchpad and Mocha ecosystem, metaverse partners and exchanges, those networks has been growing too. So we have meetings with different pillar partners like at least once a month. So this enable us to gain ongoing deal flow into 2023. To summarize, for the next year, Forj is going to look into one 8-point accelerator to own the Web3 IP distribution. And we are driving the evolutions and from interoperability as a tool to a way of operating and innovating. We will be building more tools and platform that deliver meaningful business outcomes. And we are committed to sustain growth, expanding operating margin, and a positive token buyback loop. And that's the wrap. So we really appreciate everyone's listen to the whole sessions here. And we'll love to continue to share more inside view. And feel free to ask any questions in Discord and Telegram. Happy to answer those in our upcoming session as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Terence and Rob as well. So this presentation, to make you aware, we will be sharing with our community fairly soon. That's right, isn't it, Harry? So we will give everybody access to this to be able to read through at your own leisure. As I said, please do ask us any questions of anything you've seen here today. And yes, as we mentioned, it's a really, really exciting 2023 for us. The market may be bad, but that's not necessarily a bad thing for the builders, which of course Forj is very much one of the most established builders in the Animoca ecosystem and beyond. So great time for us to be keeping our heads down and pushing forwards. So if you want to reach out to me myself, I'll be in the community channels as well. But otherwise, I hope everybody had a lovely holiday season, and you're looking forward to 2023 as we are.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.